And now, part 2 of our top 10 fantasy films.
Just go.
Okay, so my next one is Big Fish. And yes, it is a big fish.
Tim Burton again.
This fish is so big, once it eats
It's like
you,
your mama.
it wraps you around and you become very, very emotional by the end of it. I didn't cry, don't worry.
Yeah,
I think it was a really good, Albert Finney and, what's his name, Billy Crudup. They did a really good father-son portrayal.
It was a really underestimated movie. I think its main problem was a lot of people didn't get it. They didn't really get the story, and therefore they were uninterested by the story. But if you watch it and you get the story, it is an enjoyable watch.
Okay, Kenneth, what's yours?
Number 6 is Prince Caspian. Now, this is the Narnia movie. A lot of people didn't like this movie for a couple of reasons. Number 1 is because it changed a lot of stuff in the books. Number 2 is because
it's a little long.
I don't think so. Number 2, they didn't like it because it made it more of an action film rather than fantasy. Well, a couple of things that I just didn't mind, because the changes that they made helped the story rather than hinder it, and they and the fight scenes were really nice and really well coordinated. So I just love the Narnia books. I've read them. I just really like them. It was really well made, and this was a good movie. It's sad that Andrew Adamson, the director, isn't going to be on Voyage to the Dawn Better, but I've seen pictures of the Dawn Better on the internet, and it looks good, and so the new director seems to know what he's doing. So Prince Caspian goes all the way to number 6.
Great. We cut.
So, Chris, to you.
Oh, yes, and one of my very well favorite fantasy films of Tim Burton is Edward Scissorhands. Edward Scissorhands is cool, man.
Johnny Depp is a great actor.
He has a great style. I love the wardrobe that he wears. I want to use some of that in my films. The same kind of costume that Edward is wearing. Just really enjoy it, and it is actually, I can't give enough credit to Tim Burton and Carolyn Thompson. She had such a great idea as a writer to do this, and Tim followed it up with his drawing. And I felt so inspired to do the same teamwork in my feature films and future filmmaking as well.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, so now we're on to number 5. Number 5 for me is Hook. Now this movie was directed by Steven Spielberg, my personal favorite director, and it was a great movie. It was basically, what if Peter Pan did grow up? What if he grew up, forgot all about Neverland, but Hook's still there, and he remembers everything. And he comes back and says, it's just a great movie. It's full of everything. You got Robin Williams as Hook. Robin Williams as Peter Pan. Dustin Hoffman as Hook. You got Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell. I mean, what else can you want from this film? And you get such great performances from everyone. Even the kid actors do a pretty good job. And I just think it was a great movie, and just the best Peter Pan.
The reason I'm not talking is for a reason. Okay, my choice for number 3 is it?
5.
5. No, not number 5. Number 4.
Oh yeah, yours is number 4 because I just did number 5.
Hello. Mr. Count Olaf in Lemony Snicket's
A series of unfortunate events. Yes.
Great movie, great fantasy movie. It's just great how they put it in the kids' perspectives, and they make them go on all these adventures and everything. And they have a great, narration before the movie even starts, they tell you what is going to happen.
Yeah, written by Jude Law.
Yeah, Jude Law. And, this is going to be a movie about mystery, crime, adventures.
You know,
and it's that's builds it up so great.
I actually thought I was in a different theater, the wrong theater when it opened with the Happy Little Elf thing. I thought it has a great look to it. That is definitely for sure. It has an amazing fantasy look to it.
Yes, it does, and I appreciate it and glad that it's made. Emily Browning is also a great actress, which I will be working with in the future, hopefully. She has a lot of potential. I'd like to keep her in the fantasy genre.
Anyway, now to number 4, I got The Two Towers. Lord of the Rings. The Two Towers. It's a movie also directed by Peter Jackson, the sequel to Fellowship of the Ring. I don't think there's a whole lot I need to say about it. It was a really... You didn't like it?
Okay, once again, I've seen this movie too many times.
See, there's one thing you don't know about Chris Filmmaker here. He's the type of guy that only wants to watch it like once, and maybe a week later again, but after that, months later before he'll watch it again. Yeah. I mean, he'll freak out if you play the song twice in a row. Anyway, though, I liked The Two Towers. I thought it was a great movie, a great film. It had a good look to it, and not to mention the Andy Serkis as Gollum. I mean, like that's like a breakthrough CGI right there. I mean,
sorry, I should stop.
Stop drinking Dr. Pepper here. Anyway, I just think The Two Towers is a great film, and it's just one of my favorites, and goes all the way to number 4.
Number 4, wow. Let me tell you something else. I'm at number 3, Emily. And number 3 is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I just love this movie. I've studied it, seen how they do the storytelling. For me, lots of people do think this, but for me, it just never gets old. It's always fresh, always staying there, always you learn something out of it. It's just always rewatchable for me. And I love the action sequence, I love the fantasy to it.
Some people might say that it's not a fantasy, that it's just adventure action film. I believe that it does fit in the realm of fantasy because people don't even know if Robin Hood is a person.
Yeah.
So
they have just tons of good stuff.
Sean Connery for 5 seconds.
Sure. Yeah. But no, Kevin Costner's in it, and Kevin Reynolds, the director, just really knew what he was doing in this. And I'd like to make a movie just like this. Well, different.
Yeah.
That is number 3. 3. When you reach number 3, it's got to be something you will watch. I mean, if you will not watch this ever again,
then
there's no point.
But this movie, even I've seen too many times for my number 3. The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Okay, before I get into it, let me just say, our family loved this movie, but we never owned it for like 5 years. We rented it almost every single time we went to the video rental store. We must have rented this movie about 50 times. And
because then we did buy it.
Because then we finally did buy it. But I'm a guy that can watch something over and over again, okay? I watched Toy Story 8 times in 3 days, I think it was. Toy Story 2, actually. Actually, it was more like a week. But anyway, I just think Princess Bride is like one of the great fantasy scenes, and I believe it has the best sword fighting scene ever. With,
Antonio Banderas.
Emilia Montoya and Wesley. In their sword fight between each other, it's just like I think it's the best. Mostly because I love the fact that neither one of them really wants to kill one another, but they gotta do what they gotta do. And they're talking about how, oh, you're using that sword maneuver. He's like, oh, I thought it'd be natural considering the rocky terrain. He's like, well, yeah, but you think that I would defend with this? He's like, yeah, but you shouldn't do that if you're doing it. And just stuff that I wouldn't understand. But and the fact that they're kind of like showing off to each other, and it's just a great movie. I'm sorry I had to put you through this, Chris, but mallet.
Oh,
Mallet is what brings us together today.
This is my childhood.
Mallet that blessed away.
I live with this.
I dream with them. I dream. Okay, I've been asked to say that too many times, but still, I think The Princess Bride deserves to be at least number 3 on my fantasy list.
Well,
Alright, the list is almost over. Just hang on a little bit, and we'll be right on just one more video. We only have 2 more, so hang on.